What's up, everyone? This is Zahara Valderrama Piape, and today I will be discussing about menu driven that keeps student drive grades in a plain text file. So today I will be in this video I will be explaining my code, the program, how I developed the program, and the final output of the program. So how did I develop my program? So first is we define the student structured, then we design a menu system, then we implement a file handling, and we also build the core functions in this program. We ensures the input invalidations, and lastly is we test and debug our program. Now let's proceed to our explaining the program itself. So this code, so the stdi 0 is represent for the input and output operations. This is represent for the memory allocations of the file handling. This string is represent string operations handling. Lastly is the C type, which is to it will check our the character. Let's proceed to define file name and this maximum length. So we first so in this section we define the file name grade.h, which we use to store student grade and record. Next is we set the maximum limit of the line to read from the file as 10 character. After that, now we will code the part where we extract definitions for student here. A student, a student structure is defined to represent each student record. The 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 ID is a 6-character strings for the student ID plus 1 for null termination. That is why 7 shall not get it. Next is the string for the student. After that is the string for the student first name. And last is the integers for student's grade. Now let's proceed to our next section. In this section, these functions are declared here so that they can be used to throw out the program. They perform the respective tasks like adding record, listing record, searching, updating grades, and calculating class statistics. It invalidates if declared to check if the ID is valid. It declares to check if the ID is six letter. Let's proceed to our main code or main program. So in this main program, we have we display the menu options to ensure and allow them to choose an option. So we choose the variables is what's the user's input. Here is the scan in this part is it reads the character's input. The leading space ensures it skip over any new line character from previous input. Next is let's go to the switches in our program. So in this section, the switch states is used to handle the user's choices. We have the case A, which is to add a new student record. Case L to list all the student record. The case S to search for the student ID. For case U is to update the student grades. For case C is for the to show the class statistic. And the case Q for the exit the program. And default case print if indicate choice if wala dito ang choice. Loop continues until the choices queue is chosen. Next section is here we start for file handling. Here we start our file handling, which when we open the file grade.h is appending mode A, allowing the additions of record at the end of the file. If the file cannot be opened, mag-print din siya file not open. Next code is we prompt the user enter their six digit student ID and check if the ID is valid using this. Then if invalid siya, it will show invalid ID format. Next section is we will prompt the users input the student's surname, the first name, and their grade. After that, here we code for our grade validation. We ensure the grade is between 0 and 10. If it's not, mag-print the siyang invalid grade. Next section, we have to write a file to append the student's record to the file and then close the file. After that is mag-kuan din siya, record added successfully. If successful ang imuhang pag-add sa name and everything. Now, in this next section is mag-display tag, list the headers and the loop through each line. Header loop through each line of the file, reading the student's data and printing it in a tabular format. The SSScanf parses each line. Then, SSN each line. The file then siya is closed once the record have been listed. Next section is we have the file handling. Open the file in read mode. If the file cannot be opened, mag-print din siya message, failed to open file. So here is mag-search tag ID function. If dili mo gawas, this will be the outcome. And if mo run siya, mo gawas siya, then the next section is we have the section is we prompt the users to enter the student ID to search for. Then after that is this section. The code reads each line from the student data file, parses it into the student structure, and compare the student ID to the target ID. If match is found, it prints the student's details and exit the loop. So if ma-found na siya, mo-print na din siya, hindi yan na din i-exit. Then if not, the ID, mo rin ni siya ang ma-print. The ID is not found. The found one, this is a set of flag found to 1 to indicates that match record was located. Yeah. Then iyan na din i-close ang file. After that, in this section, is ang update sa grade. This is another file na sad, is another file to handle to open the file for reading and temporary file for writing. If either file cannot be opened, an error message, mo rin siyang i-message, file error. Then, we prompt, after that, is mag-prompt the users to enter the student ID for which the grade needs to update. Now, in this section is now let's proceed to this next section. So in this section is muna siyang mag-read sa line from the file. And this one is muna siya ang mag-declare the student's variable to store data. And this section is to parses the lines into student data. The data then is to check if the ID is matched in the input, is to display the current grade, the new grade, here is to reads the new grade, then data yun is show if the error, if may error, ma-print na invalid grade, update cancelled. So, now, this dayon, this marked as the record found, and this updates the grade. Now, let's proceed here. Before that, this is right to update the record to the temporary file. In this section, this another section is we replace file. If the student ID is found, the grade is updated. The original file is replaced with a temporary file if no ID. Mo-print siya, no ID was not found. Then, After that, in this section, we show a file handling and variable to open the file for reading and initialize the variable for counting students. Mag-calculate din siya to the sum and grade, to the maximums and the minimum of grade, and calculate the average. Now, here in this another section, sad is if ma-failed og open or na error, mag-message din siya ni failed to open the file. After that, the next the next the next section is the loop calculation. The loop calculations. So the total grade, sum, and the highest grade and the minimum grade. So the total sum, highest grade and lowest grade, and the number of students for later use. Use mo ni siya. Ayun mo ni siya, ang total ni. So in this section is in this section, maglook siya calculations to the total grade, sum, highest grade, and lowest grade, and the number of students for later use. So this is for the highest grade, lower grade, and this count is increment the students count. Now, let's proceed to our next. Muna siya ang mag-close sa file after i-read ang ato. I-read. Then, in this part is, muna siya, here. Today is for the final statistic if ang record, I, so this is the final test. So this is the final statistic of our program, which records the average, the highest, and the lowest grade are printed. If not, no record exists, a message is shown. Then last is we have the ID validation functions. This part is for ID validation functions. Last is for the, how is that possible? Yeah. Next is for our ID validation functions. So this function check if the ID has exactly 6 digits. And so these functions check if has exactly six digits and ensure all the characters are digits. Return 1 if valid and 0 otherwise. 0 for otherwise. So that's it. That's it, everyone. That's it. That's it, everyone. Thank you for watching. Bye.